Hey everybody. So in Daf Yomi this week, there is a reference to one of the 13 attributes of God. There's a point in the Chumash in Exodus where God reveals to Moshe this kind of secret formula that when the Jewish people utter it, and we say this repeatedly on Yom Kippur and other days, that this will kind of create a certain sense of grace, of forgiveness by God by doing this. And we utter these 13 attributes that are associated with God. And one of them, which this week's Gemara and Daf Yomi talks about, is called Erech Apayim, which is generally translated that he's slow to anger, long suffering. And so the Gemara says, when it says Erech Apayim, it notes that there's a bit of a grammatical problem. It says Erech Apayim, Lo K'tiv Erech Af. It doesn't say that God is in the singular, that he is long-suffering. Apayim is future. Plural. So what does it mean? Erech Apayim L'Tzadikim V'L'Rashayim. That God is patient, long-suffering, both with tzaddikim, with righteous people, and with rashayim, with evil people, with bad people. So what is it getting at? What does it mean? So generally the idea is that if somebody does something, and it's really an opportunity, if somebody does something wrong or they're continually doing something wrong, that God is slow to anger. He gives the person an opportunity to do tshuva, to do repentance, to come back. What about tzaddikim? What about righteous people? So basically what it's getting across is that God doesn't reward and show reaction immediately to whether a person does something bad or good. Like people, you always hear the stories when people came from Europe, the first time they broke Shabbat, they came to America, they weren't as religious, let's say. The first time they came and broke Shabbat, and they turned on a light, they expected, a bolt of lightning to hit them type of thing. They expected some sort of immediate repercussion by God to the sin. That's not how it works. And it doesn't work the other way either, that you do a mitzvah, you do something good, well, you don't win the lottery that day. That's not how life works. And so Erech Apayim, that God is like slow to react, works both ways, doing wrong and doing good. Now, this idea of delayed gratification, that things don't happen instantaneously, that's kind of difficult for people in our generation to appreciate and understand, especially younger people, where everything is so instantaneous. You order something on Amazon, it's like, okay, they don't have next day delivery, I'll have to wait 2 days, or right away, oh, they don't have Prime, they don't have 2 days, forget it, I'm not getting it. If I can't get it by 2 days, then it's just not worth it. And so, we have this thing where we expect things right away, we expect things instantaneously. And so, this is teaching us life doesn't work that way. Let's face it, for good or bad, we know that when someone develops habits, it isn't something that happens overnight. A person who has a drinking problem, let's say, they didn't one day become an alcoholic. It's cumulative, it's progressive. You have a drink, you enjoyed it, it was nice. You have a second drink, and then you realize, I kind of like this. I'm going to have it more than just on the weekends. I'll have it, every evening. And then after every evening, it becomes during the daytime too. And then before you know it, over some time, now you're hiding the bottle of scotch over there in your desk and spraying your mouth with stuff so people can't smell the booze on your breath. But it didn't happen overnight. Same thing with smoking. A person doesn't become addicted to becoming a smoker by one day. They picked up a cigarette and all of a sudden they're addicted to it. No, it's cumulative. And the other way as well. We know when you exercise, you don't get a six-pack the day after you exercise for the first time. You have to build up, you have to create, you have to keep growing. And so that is what the Torah is getting at, that this expression of God being long-suffering for good or bad, it is basically something that's built into the fabric of creation. That's how life works, that things slowly increase and grow, whether on the negative side or whether on the positive side. Now, on the negative side, again, we look at things, we look at life in Judaism mostly from a positive perspective, that from the negative side, it's to give us the opportunity to do tshuva, to fix it. God doesn't punish right away. And when it comes to the good stuff, So then we're patient, we slowly appreciate, and when we get to that point, then we have a lot more sense of self-gratification, of enjoyment of that thing that we've been building for so many years to create. That's why whatever it is, a business, a family, whatever you do that you built incrementally over days and weeks and months and years and decades, when you get to that point where you get that nachas, that enjoyment, it's so deep, it's so inside, it's so meaningful, it's just there. It can't ever be taken away or replaced because of this patience and delayed gratification that's built into the creation of the world. So, little idea. Have a good Shabbat.